Hey there, so last week I accused the people of Newcastle of being coddled babies because I discovered that this throw speed measuring machine in the Newcastle Museum was very inaccurate. I discovered this by measuring speed myself using the time that it took for a ball to move through the machine using the camera app and the distance of the machine using Apple's Measure app. And all was good and well until yesterday Newcastle Museum sent one of their employees down to the throw speed measuring machine to measure its length with a tape measure.
We have to figure out the length. That is 5 meters. Do you see that, Tom Cashman?
Separately, a nanotechnology researcher and senior lecturer with no apparent affiliation with the museum also went down to measure the machine's length with her shoes.
At 17 steps from target to the end, and that gives us a distance of 4.25 metres.
Unsurprisingly, these shoes were less accurate than the tape measure, but to be fair to both of them, both were more accurate than the Measure app, which was off by 3.1 metres. Because of that incorrect measurement, the accusations I made against Newcastle and Newcastle Museum were completely wrong, and for that I think they deserve a profuse apology from Apple. So I went on Apple's website, chatted to a support officer. The Apple staff member asked me what was being measured within the Newcastle Museum, so I explained it was a machine that measured the speed of your tennis ball throws. At that point I asked, could you please apologise to Newcastle Museum? He said he doesn't really have the context yet, so he's not yet aware how much inconvenience this has caused. At this point I explained that I too am still coming to terms with the scale of the inconvenience. Then he asked for evidence and screenshots of my measurements, so I sent through these. Then he started blaming me and my use of the app, which of course I wasn't going to tolerate. Instead I asked him again, would you be willing to apologise to Newcastle Museum on Apple's behalf, and he said he's not able to because he's just a technical support officer. He doesn't have the authority. But then he offered to get a senior advisor who might be able to give a formal apology, and I said a formal apology sounds fantastic. So I provided my number and my time zone, and within a few minutes I received a call.
Press 1. How can I help?
So I have had some problems with the Measure app. The measurement came back at 1.9 meters, but the actual real measurement when a tape measure was used was 5 meters. So I think you'd agree that that's quite a significant difference between the correct measurement and the one that was provided by Measure.
A huge difference. Okay.
Yeah, I was hoping for an apology from Apple to Newcastle Museum because of the accusations.
Oh, okay, right. If you can give me maybe a few minutes. Any type of apology, email letters or statement isn't available for Apple to provide?
I've made some accusations against the museum and the incorrect reading of the speed on their tennis ball throw machine. And it's made me look a fool, and it's made me look bad to Newcastle Museum, and it's made Newcastle Museum look bad as well.
Yes, apologize for that.
Having been told that Apple don't do formal apologies in writing, I thought I'd go down to my local Apple store and see if they'd apologise in person. The answer in store was a no as well. Each of the staff refused to apologise on camera to Newcastle Museum despite the clear inaccuracies in the Measure app. I was told that it's a policy that Apple staff aren't allowed to appear in videos, and I was directed to Apple's media helpline. But I was never going to call them again. I'd already done that. And to be honest, as I left the mall dejected, I thought maybe Newcastle Museum are never going to receive the apology they deserve. But then I realised something, hang on, maybe someone else could apologise. So I was standing there in the mall looking around thinking who would make the most sense to ask to apologise next when it hit me the person who should apologise is pretty close by. That's right, only one floor down in the same mall was the shop that sold me the phone. So this is Xavier. Anything you'd like to say, Xavier?
Newcastle Museum. We're sorry.